Welcome back, everyone. You're listening to The Deep Dive. This is where we take a whole bunch of research, articles, notes, you name it, and we boil it all down for you.
Right. We try to get to the core insights, the really potent stuff.
Exactly. Your shortcut to being, well, genuinely informed. We try to make it interesting, maybe a little surprising, too.
Keep you hooked.
Yeah. Now, you might be expecting Denny Van from Hypnosis by Design, but today, it's us. We're stepping in.
We're your substitute guides for this one.
And Denny actually handed this topic to us. He really wanted us to stress his big theme, not staying hypnotized.
And paying close attention, especially to this.
Because what we're diving into today, well, it's quite something. It's called the Universe 25 experiment.
It's a scientific study, but it feels pretty profound.
Yeah.
Maybe even a bit unsettling.
Yeah, unsettling is a good word. It's not just some old experiment. The way it's presented, it feels like it might be saying something direct about us, about complex societies.
Like a piece of urban sociology, almost. Looking at what happens when a community seemingly gets everything it wants.
In Utopia.
Exactly. So our mission today, our deep dive, is to really get into this Universe 25 experiment, understand what they found.
And crucially, explore why the material Denny gave us suggests it's so relevant now, why we need to pay attention.
Right. We want to distill the key takeaways for you so you really grasp the implications, maybe for what you see happening around you.
Okay, let's unpack this then. The starting point, it's this huge question, right? It's right there in the research.
What would happen if we were in a utopia?
Yeah, where we had infinite resources. Would we be happy? I mean, people have wondered about that forever.
Absolutely. Philosophers, writers. Yeah. But this time they actually tried to test it. For real.
With mice.
With mice, yes. Yeah. That core question drove the Universe 25 experiment. It was conceived, conducted by an ethologist, John B. Calhoun.
Right, Calhoun. This started back in, 1968?
1968, yeah. And it ran for 4 years, into the early 70s, a long time.
4 years is a serious commitment for an experiment like this.
Oh, definitely. Calhoun was really digging into population density, social behavior.
Yeah.
This was his kind of ultimate setup.
So tell us about Universe 25. What did this mouse utopia actually look like at the start?
Okay, so it began small. Just 8 mice, 4 female breeding pairs.
Just 8?
Yep. And they were put into this environment Calhoun designed to be, perfect. Imagine a huge enclosure designed for, nearly 4,000 mice.
Wow, okay.
Unlimited food, unlimited water, super easy to access, perfect temperature, always stable.
And crucially,
no predators, no disease, supposedly, no outside threats at all. It was, scientifically speaking, a utopia.
He even made sure they had tons of nesting boxes, right? More than enough space.
Exactly. Way more nesting spaces than they could possibly need initially. He wanted to remove every constraint. See if paradise could actually last.
Okay, so the perfect mouse house sounds like a recipe for success, just endless growth.
You'd think so.
But the research breaks it down, doesn't it? Into phases. It wasn't just smooth sailing.
Not at all. 4 distinct phases. And this is where you see the utopia start to, change in ways they didn't expect. It's almost like stages in development, but with a dark twist.
All right, let's walk through them. Phase 1.
Phase 1. Calhoun called it the strive period. This lasted until about day 105. And, things started well.
As expected.
Right. The first 8 mice settled in, started reproducing, setting up little territories. Population grew fast, exponentially. Doubled every 55 days or so.
Healthy, happy mice exploring their perfect world.
Pretty much. Colonizing their universe. A period of success.
Okay, so far so good. Then phase 2.
Phase 2, the exploit period. This went from day 105 to day 315. Growth kept going strong. Population shot past 600 mice, still climbing.
Wow.
They basically filled up all the good spots, spread out everywhere. On the surface, it still looked like thriving prosperity. But subtle things started shifting. Density was increasing, more mice bumping into each other. The simple social structures they started with. They were beginning to feel the strain, just the sheer numbers.
So still growing, but maybe the first cracks appearing.
Maybe, yeah.
Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting, because what came next in phase 3, this might surprise you, it definitely changes the whole perfect society idea.
Absolutely. Phase 3. This ran from day 316 to day 560. Calhoun called it the stasis period, and it was a huge turning point.
Stasis, like things stopped.
Well, the population peaked first, around 2,200 mice. Then it just plateaued. The reproduction rate slowed way down. Then it actually started to decrease sharply.
And even with all the food and water.
Even with unlimited resources. The problem wasn't lack of stuff. It was The environment itself became dysfunctional, violent.
Why? What was happening?
It was the social environment. Too crowded, too much interaction, no real escape. Social roles broke down completely. Calhoun called it the behavioral sink.
Behavioral sink. What does
Yeah.
that mean?
It means behavior went pathological. Mice would cram into certain areas, even if other spots were empty. Extreme stress. Normal interactions just collapsed.
So males couldn't defend territory. Females.
Males struggled, they became more aggressive, or some just totally withdrew. And the new generations born into this chaos, they were worse, more violent, or completely checked out.
Apathetic.
Apathetic. Like,
Calhoun described these mice called the beautiful ones. Males. They completely dropped out of society.
beautiful ones.
Yeah, because all they did was groom themselves. Meticulously. Perfect fur, no scars from fighting. But they didn't mate, didn't fight, didn't engage at all, just existed. Grooming.
Wow. That's eerie.
It is. And on the other end, you had females becoming hyper-aggressive, sometimes abandoning their young. The basic stuff, mating, raising young, community defense, it just eroded.
And the source mentioned something about weaker males attacking.
Yeah, that's grim. Some males who couldn't cope, they'd move away, but then apparently lash out. Attack and kill other mice almost randomly, it sounds like. Just total breakdown. And reproduction just stopped.
Completely stopped once they hit that 2200 peak.
Yeah.
Dead stop. A really stark sign of how broken things had become.
That's incredible. So no predators, no famine, but the internal pressure, the social chaos was enough to cause this self-destruction.
It tells you something powerful, right? That density, the breakdown of meaningful social roles, it can be just as bad, maybe worse than traditional threats.
The utopia became the trap.
Exactly. Not because of the walls, but because the social structure needed to live in it just disintegrated. They couldn't perform their normal behaviors anymore.
Which leads us to the final phase.
Phase 4. Calhoun called it the death phase, or the collapse period. Chilling names. This went from day 561 all the way to day 1471.
A long decline.
A long, accelerating decline towards extinction. Population plummeted. And this is where the source explicitly says, cannibalism began to exist.
Cannibalism. Seriously. They weren't starving.
No, not from hunger. It was pathology. Mothers eating their young, adults attacking and consuming other adults. Just awful.
Good grief. What else happened in this phase?
Well, the few females born into this, the last generation, they had zero interest in reproducing, no maternal instinct. They'd abandon nests, neglect any young.
So infant mortality must have been sky high.
Through the roof. Any young that were born usually died quickly. Neglect or injured by other stressed mice. The population got older and older, withdrawn, left complex behavior overall.
And the end result, day 1471, it's just devastating.
Completely. The whole civilization, gone. Only 27 mice left. 23 females, 4 males.
And the youngest one was ancient, right? Like 90 in human years?
Yeah, 981 days old.
Yeah.
So you had this tiny aging population, basically beyond reproductive age, with no future. It wasn't just a decline. It was, like you said, a total unraveling, extinction.
Starting from a supposed paradise.
And those last few survivors, the beautiful ones, others who'd withdrawn, they were just living alone. Physically fine, maybe even plump, no scars, but socially dead, just eating, sleeping, grooming. The society itself had already died.
Okay, wow. So walking through that journey from utopia to total collapse, it forces the question, doesn't it?
The big one.
What does this old mouse experiment mean for us? Now, and this is where Denny's point about not staying hypnotized, about paying close attention, really hits home.
Right, because the source material we have, it ends with this really provocative statement, kind of a punch to the gut.
What does it say?
It says, flat out, we are in the phase 4.
Phase 4, our society.
That's the assertion. And it adds coincidences with, for example, Japan, implying these patterns from the mice might be playing out now in human societies, especially developed ones facing certain demographic shifts.
Whoa, okay. That's a huge claim, connecting mouse cannibalism and collapse to modern society, even naming Japan. How does the source justify that? What are these coincidences it's pointing to?
Well, the text itself is brief, but drawing on Calhoun's wider work and, urban sociology, you can see the parallels they're likely hinting at.
Like what?
Think about declining birth rates in many developed countries, aging populations, fewer young people. That echoes the non-reproducing females, the dying young in phase 4, right?
Okay, I see that.
And social isolation. Think about things like the Hikikomori phenomenon in Japan.
Yeah.
People withdrawing completely. It sounds disturbingly like Calhoun's beautiful ones, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That total social withdrawal.
Yeah, it does. But the cannibalism part, surely that's not literal for humans.
No, almost certainly metaphorical. The source implies society starting to kind of eat itself.
How so?
Think about things like extreme economic inequality, where the system seems to consume the prospects of the less fortunate. Or intergenerational tension, where, say, environmental decisions made now consume the future for the next generation. Or the breakdown of community bonds, support systems.
So the social fabric itself being devoured.
Exactly. A society undermining its own foundations, its own future. Not out of hunger, but because the cohesion, the shared purpose, the functional roles, they're breaking down. That's why the study is seen as relevant to models of social collapse.
Okay, that makes a chilling kind of sense. It really drives home Denny's point about not being hypnotized, doesn't it? If we're not paying attention, we might miss these signals.
That's the core message. Pay attention. This study isn't just history. It's presented as a potential model, a lens to view what happens with density, social stress, the breakdown of roles, especially in crowded, complex environments.
And the idea is if we understand these dynamics,
If we can see maybe where we are or where things might be heading, perhaps we can do something, or at least be more aware, better prepared for the challenges. It's about spotting those potential pathologies before they become irreversible.
this has been, yeah, really thought-provoking, maybe a bit sobering.
Definitely sobering.
So, just to recap for everyone, Universe 25 started as a mouse utopia, went through 4 phases: growth, exploitation, then breakdown, violence, social collapse,
Cannibalism, withdrawal.
and leading to extinction. And the source connects this stark model to us, suggesting we might be in a kind of phase 4.
Urging us to pay close attention.
Right, it really underscores that need to be informed, to not just drift along, not stay hypnotized, as Denny always says, but to really look critically at the big patterns.
And it leaves us, I think, with a really crucial question to mull over.
Which is,
If we do recognize these patterns, if we see the direction things might be heading, can we actually stop it? Can understanding alone change the trajectory? Or does it need something more profound?
wow, that's the question to sit with, isn't it?
Yeah.
Heavy one. Well, thank you for joining us on this intense deep dive.
Yeah, thanks for sticking with us.
If this got you thinking, if you found it as important as we did, please do subscribe to the Hypnosis by Design podcast. Denny's got more insights coming.
And leave your comments. We really want to hear your thoughts on this Universe 25 deep dive.
Absolutely. Your perspectives help us all pay closer attention. Thanks for tuning in, everyone.
We'll catch you on the next deep dive.